Alright then, welcome back guys. So if you're new here, subscribe. So let's continue building our category um, component. So the first thing we need to do is go into our category. Let's just close all of this. Go into our component within our categories, and let's go into our category card. Okay. So basically, this is what we need to do, and yeah, so most people don't actually know this, but you can actually define types within your JavaScript with React. React has something called prop type, and you can actually use that. So if you don't actually want to go use TypeScript, you can actually do this in React. So I'm going to be showing you how you can actually do it right now. So the first thing you need to do is to import. Okay, so with this you can actually give your component some prop types, like the type of props it's going to use, and if the type is not matching what the component is getting, it's going to throw an error. So hope this helps. So right here, how you can actually use it is that you're just going to say category card, which is the name of your component, and you're just going to say prop type. Okay, and right here is going to equal to an object. All right, so let's just go ahead and start. Right here we're expecting category, because right here within our view we're passing category as the props. So right here we're expecting category, and the type of the category is going to be an object. So let's go ahead and say prop type dot object. Okay, prop type dot object. So basically what you're doing is you're telling your component to actually look for a category property, and the value or the type of the category is going to be an object. But too bad that we can't actually list the types of the object itself. We can't actually give it values, or we can't actually give the object properties right here. But this works good if you don't want to go into TypeScript, but I would strongly advise you to actually go into TypeScript. So we're expecting that I want to see show more. Okay, so basically show more is just like the value right here. The reason why I'm doing that is I want to use this category card in two places. I actually want to use it in the landing page and in the categories page. So since if we're in the category page, we don't actually need to render this show more tag. We don't need it because we're already in the category page. If we add it, it's just going to go into a infinite loop or something like that. So what I can do is to make it a boolean, so I can actually conditionally render the tag. So this will be prop types, and right here this is actually going to be a boolean. Okay, this is going to be a boolean, and basically this is just all we need to do. So what you can do is you can actually give these values some default values. Okay, so what I mean by default values is if you're making a request and the request fail, these are like values that your component will fall back to, okay, when they are not actually getting the value that they're expecting. Okay, so right here what we can do is we can actually go into our Redux. So let's just copy a category type. So let's just copy some categories data. So right here within our categories, we have a single category, which is this. So let's just go ahead and let me just see the raw. Let me see the raw. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and copy. So let me just go ahead and copy this as my category, default category. Okay. So let me just copy this as my default category. So let me just copy that. And right here, what we can do is we can create a new folder that we just load all our data. So we can call this data, and right here what we can do is we can call this category default. Okay, default props. Okay, .js. Okay, so hope this makes sense, and we can actually export this value. We can actually export this value and call it category uh, default props. Okay, hope this makes sense. And this will be equal to the object that we copied earlier. So let's just make sure we copy in the right format. And yeah, so let's just do this and do this. And yeah, so these are default value for our category. So whenever the request fail or we're not getting the component is not getting the data that it actually wants, this is going to actually fail. Okay, so let's go back into our category and let's just round up this component. All right, so let's just go and say category card dot default props. This will equal to category. So this will be equal to the type. So that will be equal to the type that we actually created, like the default props that we created earlier. So category, let's just get the spelling right. Category default props. So right here for show more, we just going to set this to true. So yeah, so basically this is just how you can actually give a prop type and also give a default props. Okay, so you actually need to import this value. You can say we've actually import that. So yeah, so I think that's all we need to do. So yeah, so let's just go ahead and destructure the values from the props. Let's just say constant. We just want to use an object destructuring. So this will be category and this will be show more. Okay, so yeah, so we're getting all this from props. And yeah, that's all. And we can start using the categories. Right here, we're just going to replace it with the value we're getting. So this will be category dot. Let's just do an optional chaining because I use optional chaining a lot. Even though when I'm sure of my data, I still use optional chaining. So yeah, so let's go into our preview and actually see this. And you can see the name has changed to the name of each categories that we're getting. You can see that. And yeah, so we want to conditionally render this particular item. So the next thing we can do is we can actually go and do some conditional rendering. So if show more is true, we then want to do a link because it's actually going to be a link. Okay, so we can actually do a link and the link is just going to go to category slash dollar sign. This is actually dollar sign. All right, category dot id. So we've not actually created this route, but we'll create it in a bit. So let's just go ahead and say more. Okay, so basically this is all we need to do. Let's just close link. Okay, and let's just make sure everything is okay. And yeah, voila, and that's all. And so let's see that we have an error. Okay, we need to actually import this from React router DOM. So let's see that. Yeah, React router DOM. All right, so we've import that, and right here, show more is actually defined. So this is it, and you can see if you notice the bottom left corner, you can see we are actually doing that. So if we click this, this is just going to display an empty screen because we don't have the link yet. So let's go back to our component. Let's go back to our landing page. So this is not linked yet, so let's go back and link that. So within our header, we need to actually link that. So the same way we did earlier, we're going to use link from React router DOM, and this is actually going to be close link, and here to is actually going to be to the base app URL. Yeah, and I think that's all we need to do, guys. And yeah, so when we click this now, it takes us to our home. Yeah, so we're getting there, guys. So that's basically everything for the category. So that's basically everything for the category. So in the next video, we're going to be repeating this process for the product. So we're going to be including all this process for the product, and we're going to be working on the product card. So I'll see you in the next video, guys.